gigantic mechanized harvester cuts through a field of super premium California rice. Fleets of these machines work similar fields across 500,000 acres of the northern Sacramento Valley. More than 4 billion pounds are harvested, trucked, dried, and stored in enormous warehouses and silos. Strategically dispensed to high-tech milling facilities, it is milled, packaged, and shipped to consumers all over the world. This is the heart of California's rice industry that employs 25,000 people and generates $5 billion each year. And all of it made possible by more than 100 years of intense environmental engineering to transform the natural wetlands that once were here into a rice factory. But unlike most agribusinesses in California's Central Valley, driven solely for the commodities they produce, this region is different. Within and all around the many rice fields and orchards is habitat for 200+ wildlife species, food for 7 to 10 million birds that migrate along the Pacific Flyway, and the most successful salmon recovery anywhere. These are the fruits of a determined effort to change the legacy of environmental exploitation and habitat loss so familiar in California, and to reconcile the demands of modern civilization with the needs of nature.
Seeing what the rice industry has been able to do in this part of our, little piece of the world has been something that I think has started to change people's thinking.
We're doing so much more than farming rice. We're farming for the birds and we're farming for fish.
It became an amazing opportunity to have a relationship with the environment in a very productive way.
And running through it all is a modest ribbon of water called Butte Creek. The novel partnerships that first surfaced here and the environmental successes that flowed from them are now models for conservation efforts all across the northern Sacramento Valley and beyond. It is late fall, and the harvest is long over. Farmers all across the northern Sacramento Valley are again diverting water to their fields, but not for growing crops. This flow is for nature. The water flooding this field, and hundreds of thousands of acres like it, is the opposite of typical farming practice. Instead of hurrying the water off the land and draining it, drying it out, in preparation for cultivation next spring, this water will sit calf-deep all winter long, creating vast stretches of wetland habitat and spinning rice straw into food. These flooded fields represent a sea change, a radical departure from the environmental history of this region that began even before California became a state.
Butte Creek was the last stream to the north that had gold. The miners came in and pretty much disrupted everything, initially starting out with small-scale mining, then eventually building dams and diverting water. And then eventually a whole new type of mining equipment was developed, the dredgers. And Butte Creek was a perfect place to literally come in, dig a hole, build a dredge, fill it up with water, and start clawing through the floodplain. and dozens of these large dredgers, completely turned the floodplain upside down.